Shut up and sit down.
Well, hello, Internet! This is Draven Dresden. If you're here for the pre-show, you got some fun facts about Draven's life. None of which are overly personal, but still they're all true. Probably. Anyway, this is Epic Fail, episode 166. With me this week, we've got the return of the one and only, because more than one would just be too much for anyone to deal with, Galv. Hi, Galv.
Man, what a generous and loving introduction. Appreciate that. Yeah, how are you doing?
Oh, today has been a day, but those things happen. I'm okay. It's dark
Definitely.
out. It's dark out now. I'm wide awake as opposed to when it was daylight, and I just was like, oh, I'm dying, just because I was so tired.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I was pretty tired today too, myself, off and on. Weather is really strange. Fall is just kicking up, so bodies are changing and people are starting to feel it. So it'll be a couple of weeks before I think everyone's going to be in fall / next season mode.
I really wanted to. You said bodies are changing. I was like, are you going through puberty, Galv?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No.
Well, how has your week been? I know we have a lot of WoW stuff to talk about, so we'll probably just breeze through how you doing this week.
Man, no, pretty good this week. A lot of stuff going on at work, a lot of stuff going on at home, a lot of stuff going on in Raid. So yeah, things are pretty good. Busy, still holding on there. Keeping 2 Raid tunes at ready status is fairly challenging still. And honestly, some of the things is just spending time tweaking some of the things that we're doing. Not because it's not going well, but because we see opportunities to succeed more, and that's about it. But that's always a good thing. So yeah. How about you?
Well, we're going to talk more in depth about WoW news a little later, but there's something I need to mention about WoW in terms of my character or characters. I have been farming King's Rest so many times. This week I've only done it 3 times. So I've cut down from the 15 of last week. And I think Gal froze. But I'm going to keep going anyway, because it's amusing. So yeah, I've cut down. I still don't have the weapon, but I got the Warfront and got a 370 out of it, and it was a 370 haste crit weapon. And I completely lost Gal, so we'll be just a moment. I know, that's why I left it, Ali. I was like, that's great. Call dropped. Let's try again. Yeah, it was amusing.
Computer just started dump on me.
I noticed.
I'm back in.
Yep.
Wow. I was like, I hope that's me, because, yeah.
Yeah. It'll be just a sec.
No problem. Sorry about that.
Hey, technology, it happens. Trust me, I know. But yeah, I was just talking about I've only run it 3 times this week so far instead of my usual, 10 to 15. And I finally, because of the weapon drop I got, the haste crit 370 War Mace, freaking two-handed Harley Quinn weapon, which I'm, if it was different colors, I'd be even happier.
Right.
Yeah, it's just I can cut down on it because I have to Titan Forge up so high that I'll end up getting on a regular mythic. I'll be like, grr. But
Well, at least you have that fun weapon.
yeah, I've got a weapon. Yeah, I should be doing at least as much DPS as our rogue now. Hopefully, of course, I think she got upgrades too, and she's fully chanted her weapons this week. So, yeah.
I remember that. You got a sweet upgrade, and we were hoping that you'd be able to at least compete with Epic.
Yeah.
Or Fate, or whatever she goes by.
Yeah. So, there's that. You mentioned our raid. We full cleared normal this week, and our heroic boss has been killed again, so now it's pure progression on Monday. Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. So to comment on that, so we're talking about Hydro Volunteer Fire Department, and I actually put some posts out about this. That is a huge night for us. Not only did we do everything in our farm content from the first 2 weeks, but we got our progression boss down, and now when we get on a Monday, it's going to be all new stuff.
Yeah. But I'm hoping that we can get our crap together for her mother on heroic, because it's tough, sure, but I think we technically outgear it. So I'd like to see some actual, progression there. But we'll get there. I'm thinking we probably will get her and maybe get to see some more bosses Monday, so that'll be cool.
I just realized you probably still don't have my camera, do you?
I do not.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did our ratings go up?
They just tripled. But yeah, for people in chat and listening later on, some tech issues with Skype. We're working on it as we keep going, so yeehaw.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I think we're around into my computer while we talk here. I'm going to fix it.
Yep, not a problem. Multiple reasons why the show is named what it is.
This is probably my most impressive fail yet.
I'd say it's a Skype fail more than anything, but okay, well, I'm willing to blame you.
Well, it's my tech.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, if you want, we can go ahead and get going with the actual news stuff, or we can hang out a minute and...
Let's hit it.
All right. Well then, first up, you know that person who retired from Blizzard a couple years ago? He got his own Disney-like statue.
Absolutely.
What's his name?
The reindeer.
The reindeer. The voice of Thrall and so many other characters, most of which are dead. Oh yeah, Metzen.
Metzen the reindeer.
Metzen the reindeer. Yeah, he a while back was talking to Scott Johnson about, he hasn't really done much creative stuff. Whether or not he did this after that or not, or he just going to talk about it, we don't know. But he is voice acting currently, sort of, at least on one IP. It's over on Netflix, and if I recall correctly, it's called The Dragon Prince.
Yeah, it looks like a sequel or an offshoot of Avatar: The Last Airbender, or something from the same creators.
Yeah, it's same creators. It's apparently it's out on Netflix now. People that have seen it have said it's really good. So, I just thought we'd throw it in there as a, hey, remember that Metzen guy that we used to love at BlizzCon? Yeah, he's still doing stuff. He's still alive.
Alessandro pointed out he wrote a children's book as well. So
yeah. I mean, he's still out there doing stuff, but he's definitely taken a step back, and he did. That's fair.
And it looks like I was reading out some of the Twitch, it's not Twitch, but some of the Twitter stuff around that, and it looks like people are super excited about that series. I don't see anything about which character he's voicing yet, but it's kind of cool that he's getting voice acting gigs.
Yeah. There was a tweet from him which said what it was, but I could not for the life of me find it, so I think it got deleted.
Maybe it was one of those Tom Holland bits, right? No spoilers yet.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo are pretty well known for, oh crap. That's a Marvel Avengers joke for anyone who doesn't understand.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
There's actually a couple of really good, what do you call it, mashups of like all the Tom Holland, where basically Benedict Cumberbatch goes around as his personal escort to tell him when to stop talking so he doesn't get himself into trouble. So that's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, I've seen a little bit of them, and most of them are rather amazing. But yeah, that's about it for Metzen that we have for information. So let's go on into some game stuff, because BlizzCon's coming up, and we're gonna get a ton of stuff there. So we'll just cover games for this week.
Most of the BlizzCon stuff like weaves into those games too. So yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of Netflix, you remember how
we were.
Yeah, remember how we mentioned Diablo and Netflix, maybe, possibly?
Definitely.
Well, one of the supposed creators posted a tweet and then later deleted it, saying, yeah, he's in final talks, they're working on it. So, Diablo animated Netflix series confirmed? ? Because if they're still in talks, it could still fall through. But everything is pointing to, it's going to happen.
So when I see stuff like this, I would say that typically it's better to not say things like, oh, I'm indeed in final talks to write and showrun the new... Nah, you kind of want to tamp that down until you actually get the green light. When it's signed and inked and everything, that's usually a better time to truck it out.
Yeah, so when I hear final talks, it's like I've never heard of anything falling apart at that point, so it's kind of confirmed-ish, but I'm almost positive some things have, so it's still technically up in the air, but all signs are pointing to it's a thing that's going to happen. Probably, if I was to make a guess, it would get released next year, if we're lucky. I'm thinking the perfect time to do it would be October of next year for Halloween. Or hey, we're going to debut episode 1 at BlizzCon 2019. That kind of thing.
I'd be surprised if they can get a legitimate series up and running that fast. Well, I mean, maybe I'm out of touch with how long it takes to get those kind of series going, but
you never know. I'm optimistic and hopeful sometimes, and this just happens to be one of those times, despite the fact that I don't actually have Netflix. But we have other Diablo news.
Absolutely.
I know. We actually have news for every game. It's weird. Season 15 is live for Diablo. Boon of the Herodrum. We mentioned this before it started. But it is now... We know what it means.
Yeah. So the cash rewards have doubled. And if you guys play World of Warcraft or if you played Diablo lately, what that means is each day you get an option of doing these, basically complete these quests around the map. and you unlock a cache, which usually has better than average equipment or gear. So it looks like they're doubling the rewards. That's pretty slick, because those, when you get to the top end of the game, those are a pretty big pile of treasure.
Yeah,
You
you get a bunch of blood shards. If that's doubled, that's a ton more of them. You get the legendary, possible legendary drops. There's the crafting
It's not.
patterns.
Yeah, the crafting things is what I'm thinking of, because it's not quite crafting pieces, but it kind of is. So those are big time too, because that's how you make that best stuff.
Yeah, and you might even get really awesome pieces of gear. And now with the chance being doubled, you can maybe gear faster.
Well, it'd be kind of funny if doubled means you get like 2 belts.
That really the same belt at that, because
Right, exactly.
we brought a lot of Diablo over to WoW. Let's bring some WoW over to Diablo. Here's the same item over and over.
You look at the map, and like the quest rewards are the exact same item you don't really need on 4 spots on the map.
Yeah. At this point, not gonna lie, I'm doing my emissaries, and that's it for my main. I might do some artifact power or some resources, but I've got exalted on everyone, so I don't care anymore.
I hear that.
Yeah, now on my Demon Hunter, I am still doing since it's a horde, I'm doing all the Colteris ones, because I still need the rep up for that for the unlocking of our allied race.
Gotcha.
Yep. And that's really it for Diablo. I know we jumped off to WoW for a sec, but still. So, Starcraft! Woo! Alessander! Yay!
Woo!
Yeah.
Actually, there's a pretty good bit here.
Yeah, I just want to apologize ahead of time. There was something that was supposed to be in last week's show, and I forgot to put it in the notes itself. I was like, I'll put it in later, and then I forgot. And that is the TotalBiscuit bundle that you can buy for in-game stuff. And that's available. And it was, like I said, supposed to be out last week. Or at least in the show, rather.
Right.
Yeah. And
it's still out there.
Yeah, you can still get it. That's a thing. But it is only a limited time bundle, though. You have until the end of this year.
So,
technically...
You want me to...
Go ahead.
I was saying, you want me to read this off?
You can, yeah, some of it. Alessander is saying it's $5. It's $4.99. That's what I was going to look for.
Yeah. All of the proceeds go to his family to help with hospital bills for his cancer treatment. So that's pretty cool. Blizzard is doing that, and it's a collection of different icons and things like that. So no game skins necessarily, but like the top hat that he made famous is there because it was the. Oh, now I can't remember what his Brit name was. It was like the Salty Brit or something like that. I'd have to pull it up.
Cynical Brit.
The Cynical Brit, that's what it is. So, yeah. But I got a little bit of this other the StarCraft news is that the BlizzCon bracket is all set except the last spot, which is going to go to the highest GSL Super Tournament finisher who doesn't already have a seat, which is 5 of them. 5 of them in that group already have seats at BlizzCon. So we'll see. The first round is going to feature Maru, who we talked about last week, playing his teammate Rogue. So that should be interesting, although Maru is heavily favored. There's AI tournaments in full swing for the whole winter. BlizzCon is going to be showing something to fans about StarCraft Remastered, but there's no details. And along with that TotalBiscuit commemorative pack, you can also get the war chests, which includes StarCraft materials, skins for HOTS, and loot chests for Overwatch and Hearthstone. So that's my summary that I parsed out of what Alessander sent me.
Mm-hmm. And there is one other thing that she sent me. China has been able to create an AI capable of beating quote-unquote cheater AI in Starcraft.
It's Tencent, the people that have the PUBG mobile app over in China.
Yeah. They haven't beaten human players yet, but cheater AI is still cheater AI, and it's very difficult. So the grandmasters and the pros, I would imagine they're not very far away from being able to beat them, and then Skynet takes over and we all die.
Well, as long as Skynet's controlling the Zergs, I suppose so.
And thank you for most of that information, Alessander, because you are the StarCraft news person for us. Not gonna lie. Moving on to heroes. Halloween! Yay! Halloween stuff. It's literally what I put in for the show notes. It's Halloween stuff. It's called The Fall of King's Crest. It's basically the in-game lore of two of the planar deity thing. I don't know how to explain it. The Raven Lord versus the Garden Noble chick. And he dropped again. Yay for tech issues.
Down to using my phone this time.
Alrighty. It's fine. We'll deal. But anyway, have you seen these skins for heroes, the Halloween ones?
Yeah, so far. Is my audio coming through, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic. I plugged my headset into my phone.
Yay.
They are pretty fantastic, man. You go ahead.
Alright. Well, basically, Alex Straza is getting a Queen of the Undead type skin where she's in kind of rags and it's all undead-like, and it's one of the skins that I'm like, I want this. And it affects her human and it affects her human and dragon form. So that's
Wait, what?
cool.
I missed that part. There's a dragon form part?
Yeah, they're different tints on with the dragon to go with the human skins.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
The other set of skins that I really want is Witch Whitemane. She gets a broom and she definitely rides on it. And I'm like, yes, I will take that one also. Now, these are characters I don't normally play too much, but I would be more than happy to play them for these skins because they are really, really cool.
So Whitemane in particular, I haven't gotten a lot of playtime in with, but, well, yeah. She looks pretty OP, and these are pretty fantastic.
Yeah, all the skins are good. Those are the two highlights for me. Maev has a Spider Warden, which is basically what she's already got, only a more spidery themed outfit to go with it. And then there's Phantom Knight or Infernal Knight, and I never can say this right. Geist? Geist?
Usually it's Geist.
Yeah, Geist.
Yeah,
Knight.
Geist.
Basically, Ghost is Cesaria. Those are the other two skins that are going to be available. It's saying it's a new mount, but it's not a new mount. It's new tints for a mount for the iPad. Pumpkin and Sunnyside. Pumpkin, obviously, is pumpkin tinted. Sunnyside looks like a freaking egg. So it's amusing. Yeah. There's some new banners, which, for the most part, I never care about, but these actually look kind of cool. Raven Army, Witches and Wardens, Inspectors and Phantoms. So that's neato. Tons of player portraits, sprays, some of which are actually cool looking. There's tombstones, there's Genji's hand popping out, that kind of thing, you know.
Which, isn't that a callback to the Halloween, was it this
Overwatch?
when you win?
Yeah, the
Yeah, in Overwatch.
the
when you
Overwatch
win-
victory
Yeah,
scheme. Yeah,
that's the one.
yeah, definitely a callback to that. There's a loot box guaranteed for it.
There's a comic
Yeah.
here.
Oh yeah, there's a comic to go with it too. What else do we got? There's more skin tints. There's a witch Brightwing and green Kerrigan, Count Carradine. Uh, the peg mount that everyone's like the money peg. There's a
Yeah.
It looks like it's made of pure copper. So there's a new tint of that. There's a few more announcers. So that'll be interesting. And
I just noticed that Stukov is one of them. The gravestone with Stukov's like alien hand sticking out.
yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff. And we did find out a little bit more. There's 4 sets of quests with 4 quests each. Basically, you have to go and quote unquote defeat each of these bosses, which is the 4 skins with that we mentioned earlier: Zarya, Whitemane, Mayev, and Alexstrasza. And then once you do that, you have this last thing where you get a tombstone mount, and it's either green tinted or fire tinted. And I'm just like, I want both, but you can only pick one.
Yes. So, yes, those both look fantastic. I wonder if they'll come back next year and you can get the other one, or if you have to buy it.
Generally, with this kind of thing, you get one and that's it. You choose, and that's the only option. But we have no idea if you can do it all in AI, or probably not. You'll probably have to team up with friends. We don't know the quests or anything like that yet, so I will definitely be spending some extra time in Heroes coming up. Because
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm hoping that the skins you get the skins just from beating the quote unquote quest for the generals.
I don't know yet, but I've been. It'll be a good time to get into Heroes at that point. I think that the raid grind on World of Warcraft should be down a little bit. I hope.
Yeah, this is a seasonal event, so it's not like a one weekend thing. It'll probably be most of October, if not all of October, and then depending on what day of the week Halloween, which I believe is a Wednesday, it might even go all the way through BlizzCon.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Or it ends right before Halloween. I don't. It just depends on what they do. They haven't really said anything yet. But it'll be entertaining. I'll have something in October to do besides, WoW and real life stuff.
Wow, man, I'm catching a glimpse at some of these previews, and these skins are pretty sick in game.
Yep. I still say those two, the Whitemane and Alexstrasza, are the best of the 4, but they all look really good.
Yeah, Whitemane is probably my favorite, but wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything noteworthy for Hearthstone, or can we skip it?
Yeah, there's just one bit on Hearthstone. Is tonight is the last night to buy the Frozen Throne bundle. It's half off packs, so I mean it's a money grab. I don't know. It's not that bad. They're not that bad about it, but Knights of the Frozen Throne, you can get 30 packs for half off, and it's September 23rd, which is Sunday, is the last day for that. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Hearthstone, but that's the only news.
Okay. Well, then we'll jump over to Overwatch. And there's only really one big piece of news currently for Overwatch, and that is you can buy a Genji sword. I'm not even kidding. It is over on the Blizzard store. It is $200. You can buy a Genji sword. It is not sharp. Keep that in mind if you're looking for that kind of thing. But I just looked at the details on it, and it glows in the dark if you turn it on. It is 100% a decorative piece, but there is a $200 Genji sword. And the first thing I thought of when I saw it was, I really want this. The second thing I thought of, I should not get this because
Correct.
I know me too well.
The plus and the minuses on this is, as someone who really enjoys collectible art and swords and forging, this looks nothing like a sword and everything like a fantasy, a futuristic fantasy implement, which is cool in its own right. It's just, you're never going to do anything with it except for go out for Halloween or show it off to other geeks. But as far as a geek thing, it's pretty epic.
Well, as someone who has a battle-ready, sharp Final Fantasy VII sword...
Wait, what? You've got Cloud's Buster sword?
No, I have Sephiroth's sword.
Oh, okay. Amurisum.
Yeah.
Or Basmune.
Yeah, I forget. I'd have to look it up.
It's probably the Basmune.
Yeah. Yes, I think, actually. But that was a birthday present from 20 people because it was a $400 sword. Yeah. It's within arm's reach.
I may also have a battle ready sword as well. It's a hand and a half bastard sword.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other swords out there that I want. There's even a couple WoW swords that if they ever made real, I'd be like, yes, please. Like Corrupted Ashbringer Blizzard. If you make a Corrupted Ashbringer.
Did you ever watch the video of the guy that crafts replicas for Blizzard for their armory? Oh, yeah. And they made the Ashbringer?
Yeah. If they make a corrupted one, I'd be like, how much for it? I know he wouldn't sell it, but I don't think he'd be allowed.
That's part of the problem, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd take a one-of-a-kind Corrupted Ashbringer for sure. But yeah, that's really it for Overwatch. I would disagree with you in that it does look like a sword. It looks like a decorative sword, not a usable sword, but...
I mean, I guess my point is that the actual blade is decidedly plastic.
I would have
That's the part that lights up with from an internal light source, so...
I am pulling it up again, and I don't believe it is actually plastic.
I think that's how it lights up, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Well, there's a reason specification.
When I say plastic, knowing how they make these things, like when they make lightsabers, it's almost certainly made of like polycarbonate, which is clear, but it retains a strength that's you're not going to cut through something, but you could hit people really hard with it and it wouldn't damage the polycarbonate. That's true.
Okay, so going by this, sword measures 48 inches by 5 inches with a half-inch thick blade. Stand, you get the stand with it, so that's great. Blah 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 blah. Made of PVC, ABS, alloy, and electronic chips. So,
no polycarbonate, but yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's a decorative piece. It's not, you're not going to use it, and honestly, if you wanted to use it, there are much better swords to use.
Wait a second. It says for ages 15 plus, this is not a toy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope they don't mean it's a weapon, because I think it should be, decorative.
Yeah, well, technically, my Sephiroth sword is not a toy, and it is a weapon, but I don't use it like that unless I absolutely have to. But we won't go into that kind of detail because I don't need to go to jail.
All right. And what else is going on in news?
Well, Warcraft has a butt-ton of information. What I will say, there's PTR stuff out there. We're not going to cover all that because it's PTR and there's a lot of it. We'd be here all night. Go over to Wowhead if you want some of the PTR information. That being said...
Yeah.
That being said, if you can't tell from what we have on the screen right now, those of you live in chat, thanks to our tech issues, World First was claimed by Method on Wednesday. So yay! Yep, congrats Method. And then about, I think it was 3 or 5 hours later, Limit killed Gahoon also. So World First and Second are done. I don't believe anyone else has done it as yet, but I can check on that real quick as we're going. Oh no, another one. I don't even know. I would imagine that's Exorcist because I can't read their name because they're from Russia.
That could be, yeah.
So there are 3 of them so far that are in fact 8 of 8 mythic. So congrats to Method. I was not home when it happened. I got home literally 5 minutes later because I was going to tune in and watch, see if they got it or were about to get it. And then I freaking Twitter, they got it, here's a link. I'm like, darn, missed it. But
So one of the things that's come about from this that you guys can probably find out there is a brief clip that's been circulating on Twitch. I might have actually shared it on Twitter, Galvin Online, and it's the nerd screams from the world first kill of Gahoon, and it's got Sko and a bunch of the others. Their reactions for the downing it, like the live mic version, not the you can't hear what people are saying to each other broadcast version.
yeah, they have since released a full kill video, as has I believe Limit. And the fact that Method streamed this entire thing and then still got world first, and they made a ton of money doing this.
A ton.
This individual streamers got, I believe Sko got a 13,000 follower / subscriber boost as of killing Gahoon. Do you think that Blizzard might be like, hey, we're going to have a competition for World First next time, or next expansion maybe, probably not this.
How many years have we been talking about this, that the Mythic World First is a marketable event? That's come up on this show. It's come up in conversations we've had in chat and raids. This is an interesting test case.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't watch all of it, but I would definitely watch bits and pieces of it on and off. Of whatever. I mean, it also would depend on who the bosses are. Like, well, it's technically PTR, so I can't really mention it. But there are some bosses coming up that I'd be like, I would definitely want to see that kill because I don't like that particular character. So
yeah.
And yeah, all of a sudden it was like, I used to do the live raids at BlizzCon and people loved it. It just was one of those things that they take a while. So yeah, I don't know that it'll ever come back. I would love it if they did. But congrats,
yeah,
Method.
Me too.
Congrats, Method. Congrats, Limit. This was by far the closest from what I've seen. EU-US race. Method almost stayed up longer to try to kill it on Tuesday night before their reset. Worried that Limit might kill it before they got back on. I did catch the end of the stream on Tuesday, and they were like, you know what, we're making dumb mistakes. I mean, they were having some bad pulls, but for them. But they just ended up, we got to go to bed because, if we keep doing stupid stuff, we're not going to kill it anyway, and then we're just going to be even further behind tomorrow. So
just for funsies, I counted all the updates that came out since last week's show, when we did this on Saturday last week. 77 news updates for World of Warcraft pushed through. Yeah. And a ton of them were the PTR news just from the last day or so.
Yeah, there's a ton of PTR stuff. Like we said, head over to Wowhead or MMO Champion. I prefer Wowhead, but that's a personal thing. Something else that came out this week since Methods World First was there's a new mount in game. It's a flying mount that is a ship that does not float on water.
Arr, what a pain!
I find
It's also brutally wide graphically, which means that people can obstruct your view left and right further than most other mounts in the game.
yeah, the Dreadwake, which is a flying ship, kind of like Jaina's, except that Jaina's not on it and it's not an undead ship, is free if you are paying for WoW in a 6-month increment. So as long as you're paying per 6 months, you get the Dreadwake, which is the name of that mount, for free. For a limited time. If you are already doing that for a while, then you just showed up in your Blizzard gift thing and ta-da, you got it for free. And you're like, did someone get me this? Because I actually saw someone was like, did someone buy this for me? Because I don't remember. No, they just did the 6-month thing.
No, it's just the good news. They gave it to you if you already had the 6-month subscription.
Yeah. That being said, it being free is a limited time thing. We don't know when it ends. Personally, I'm figuring probably either BlizzCon or through the end of the year. Maybe as far as February, but I doubt much further than that if it goes any further. But the mount
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, the mount itself will be available to buy later on for I'm assuming the usual $25.
I'm just looking around. I think that's probably going to be the case.
Yeah. I mean, they've already said it will be, so we already... That's something we already know. But, yeah, I mean, the mount looks cool. I didn't know about this mount. Otherwise, I would have not turned in my tokens for game time already. So, yeah, that was... I could have just put it all into Blizzard Balance and been like, hey, I'm going to buy 6 months with that and got a free mount with my WoW Gold. Nope, that didn't happen.
I mean, can you just put those in the Blizzard Balance to use later?
Yeah, you can use them to buy WoW Time or Blizzard Balance and use however you want. That's how I bought the virtual ticket.
So you just jumped the gun on the buying your WoW Time.
Yeah. That's, it happens. But so I'll wind up having to wait and buy the mount later. Because I, believe it or not, do not have enough gold to do that and stay at a comfortable level. So
how far you've fallen?
Well, I did buy like 12 tokens in the last month.
Did you talk about Marianne Strasner yet? Are you familiar with her?
I know the name sounds familiar. I'm assuming you're talking about the woman who does the voice of the turtle that says, "Another turtle has made it to the water."
Correct. Scroll Sage Nola. There was an adorable Twitter post from Andrea Toyas, who's Blizzard's voice director, and it's this lady just kind of going on about the experience of all the support she's gotten and all the interesting feedback, and so she's really enjoyed. She's someone's grandma. She's an old lady. And she's absolutely adorable. It goes on for a bit. I think it's a 15-minute. You can find it on Twitter, a link to the video. But she's just amazing personality, and she's fun to hear as well. It's like grandma, someone's grandma just infecting the digital age because she's got video game voiceover parts that everyone recognizes.
Yeah, I'm finding it amusing. Semi-related, semi-sidetracked, that this expansion, a turtle's made it to the water. Last expansion, an illusion, what are you hiding? Are the memes of the expansion so far. Like, the illusion part was last expansion, obviously, but the turtle one, it
Right.
seems like it's the meme of this expansion. To the point where I know some people, or more accurately know of some people, that got tattoos of that particular phrase. And I'm just like, life can be cruel sometimes, which is what she says when, enough turtles die. But I can understand getting a Warcraft tattoo. I really can. Getting a turtle made it to the water, I do not understand. But, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not going to overly make fun of you too much for it. I'm just going to be like, I think you made a bad life choice on that one.
Oh boy. Well, when 93 years old you reach, sound as good you will not.
I don't sound good now. I have a face for radio and a voice for silent films.
This is me arguing with you.
Yep, that's about what I thought. All right, so we're not going to mention the PTR stuff, but there was that whole Ian video thing on Twitch, the developer live stream, which was actually a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. The actual stream itself was 35 minutes, but like 17 of it was, hey, the stream starts in. So it was only like a 18 to 20 minute update thing, which makes sense because he didn't have lore being like, yeah, translating the question and going on. This was just more of an info dump.
Oh
yeah, that's one way of putting it. Tides of Vengeance is what they're calling the next patch, which we believe will be 8.1.
yeah.
And
so I am excited. There's a lot of good stuff here. I'm trying not to look too far ahead because I like to play through. If I'm gonna do like a spoiler event, I'm gonna intentionally go ahead and delve into it. But just reading some of the headlines and some of the concepts, I'm excited, but also a little intimidated. There's a lot of content.
I don't know if I would call it a lot. There's a lot to the information dump. I don't know that there's a lot of content. Like some of this is heritage armor. We're gonna start getting them for
That's a fair point.
We're gonna get heritage armor for every race. They kind of already told us that. They just said that 8.1 is gonna unlock dwarves and blood elves. So they're gonna slowly roll it out. There's stuff. We're going to see updates to Sourfang, Tyrande, the Vol'jin, if you're Horde. The Tyrande stuff looks interesting-ish. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. If you want, go over to Wowhead and check it out. There's new island stuff, which will be nice because the ones we have get boring semi-quickly.
Yeah, it seems it's kind of a nice break to the other kinds of grinds.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad the way the islands are set up. That you only have to do so many of them, then you don't have to touch them ever again for the week.
Right.
So you just
right.
get them done, and you're done with them.
And you can knock them out. 5 heroics will do it, or what? 3 mythics.
I haven't done any mythics, so I have no idea. But I did find out, if you are so inclined, as of the last patch in-game, you don't need to quest any longer to get to 120. You will be severely undergeared if you do this the whole way. But island expeditions are now available at level 110.
What?
You can level 110 to 120 with island expeditions. I would recommend some questing because you're going to need the gear. Otherwise, when you get to max level, you're going to be like, I have 1% everything.
So, okay. So a couple things that come to mind is I know that some things are going to be unlocked account-wide, with access points or factions or things. At some point, that's going to be a thing. But if you don't do the quest lines, you're not going to have any of these like zones unlocked, dungeons unlocked, the legendary quest. You're going to have to go back and redo all of those lines to get your quest up to the point where you can pick up the next quest.
Yeah, but this is more for alts, not for mains.
Well, even so, I mean,
So
can you skip ahead in the main quest storylines on alts?
no, but you wouldn't. My view on it, at least, is this is if you want to do this particular option, which is leveling through the island expeditions alone and be horrible when you get max level. You'll do the questing at max level for the extra gold you'd get. But it's going to take so long. I would recommend doing maybe like get to 114, pick a zone, and do that. And then whenever you have some gear, do a couple more levels, do a zone. That kind of thing. So you're going to end up only doing maybe 3-4 levels of island expeditions, which apparently give you a ton of XP. But
okay, now that would be interesting to go and try out with an alt, is to see what the XP content is, because at a point, having to redo the same quest over and over again just to switch out your character for top end content, that would be an interesting alternative.
Yeah. This is not a method I recommend because of how the gearing works. And crafting stuff is still mildly expensive. But I guess you could craft just about everything at level 300. So it might not be too terrible.
So in my mind, I say to myself, if I were to do this, how would I do this? You would have to start doing dungeons as soon as you can. You have to pair dungeons with island expeditions, because otherwise you're going to be completely useless at 120.
Well,
like for an extended period of time, you'll be so behind the curve. Even on the island expeditions, Draven, won't you be super underpowered against the things at 120?
I don't know whether or not they scale, but once you hit 120, all the crafted gear unlocks. So you could have a full set of whatever type of armor and rings and a weapon or 2 weapons, depending on what class you are. You could have all that and you'd just be screwed with trinkets, which you could just put on your legendary trinkets and not be as bad overall.
What about this, though? What if that provides an additional... I mean, this couldn't be an on-purpose thing, but the auction house, armor crafters in the crafting professions would have a new set of customers, although I'm not sure that's how big of a pool of people that will be.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I will be checking the auction house over the next few days to see if crafted gear skyrockets the price, in which case I will be like, here you go! Here's my stuff will be cheaper. Why? Because I want to sell it and I have an overabundance of mats.
Gotcha.
But it is an option. I don't know that it's a good option unless you yourself are a crafter with the professions and you can just make your own for your alts. That's really the only way I can see it being semi-okay to do this method. And even then, I would wait until Champions of Azeroth will be the first completely quote-unquote unlocked rep, at least in terms of the benefits. You still have to get the rep up to buy things from them, but your necklace upgrade will be unlocked if you are exalted. Right. So I would wait for that before you even try this. But it's an option. It's there if you so choose. What else we got here? We got some new raids coming. We may... Woohoo! Right now it's called the Siege of Zuldazar, which is the Horde capital city. They may or may not keep the name. They've already said that. There are a grand total of 9 bosses, but there's 6 for each side, Horde and Alliance. Then you can go back and check it out from what the other ones were. This is both interesting, amazing, and terrifying. I love the fact that Horde and Alliance get their own bosses.
Yes.
And they're set up differently. Like, the Alliance side will get 3 bosses and then the 3 shared. Whereas the Horde will get the 3 shared and then 3 other ones that the Alliance didn't. Balance is going to be... That's what makes me terrified. Because if... Unless you can go in any order, which wouldn't make any sense with it being story related. Unless the shared bosses are the easy ones, which would give Horde the advantage because they get to see them first, then Alliance would have the advantage if the non-shared ones were easier because they see them first. Otherwise, you're going to be like, all the bosses are the same difficulty, end of story, that it's going to completely... Balance is just going to be a nightmare for that raid.
Right.
That said,
So I am similarly excited about them having different raids because they'll be factional related, obviously. But it feels like, again, there's an opportunity where you're going to have to play both factions to see all the content.
Yeah, kind of. After you beat your 6 bosses, you go back to your capital city and you talk to somebody and you can see the other 3. Does that mean it's going to be like a Caverns of Time where you get turned into the other faction for, certain things? We don't really know yet. That's what it sounds like. Like, you get to do the attacking as the other side. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me for that particular part of it. But the fact that it's completely like Horde sees one fight, Alliance sees a different fight, that's great. King Rastakhan is the final boss for the Alliance, and Jaina, from what I hear, is the last boss for the Horde. My question... Will World First be the first 6 bosses only? Or do they have to beat all 9? Which is go and do it as the other faction. We're assuming at that point.
Oh, well, I'm still excited to see it. I'm looking forward to the turning the page on. Okay, so here's the other thing is I'm hoping that we get all through this raid content. I can't tell how fast and furious is coming on, but the first World First is over. So when is the time horizon, do you think, for this raid to hit?
Well, it just hit PTR. I would imagine post BlizzCon will be whenever the patch comes out. Like maybe the Tuesday,
like
after,
November late or December.
The second Tuesday of November is what my estimate would be.
Gotcha.
Gives the people time to get home, get reaccustomed to their time zones, and not, oh crap, we have to hurry up home from BlizzCon so we can prep for the freaking raid in a day and a half, So I would imagine a week after, the Tuesday after the week after BlizzCon. Or however you want to say it. That's the earliest it would be. Theories in chat, he's saying December or later. That's also possible, but I think pacing, they want to keep it up with Legion. I'm going to stick with November. It might be the end of November, but my guess is going to be the second Tuesday of November through the end of November. So before December.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, if there's different world firsts for the, there has to be a Horde side, there has to be an Alliance side world first. Fills on these bosses, that is, in Mythic.
Yeah. But, we don't know yet. We'll have more information later. And that's just the first raid. They announced a second raid. Well, kind of raid. It's a 2-boss raid. It's out in Stormsong Valley. It's more than likely under the giant octopus on the map. that, we haven't done anything with yet. And it's going to be Crucible of Storms. There's hints at Ashara stuff. There's going to be, just like Legion Invasions, there's going to be incursions is what they're calling them. It's going to be the Naga. There's going to be more world quests. There's an objective for the area, which is kind of like the bonus objective that you get when you're leveling. That kind of thing. There is no word on Ashara being a raid boss as yet. So it sounds like Ashara is going to be the link to the next expansion.
Just checking out some stuff in raid chat here, and I'm not sure if it's going to be much of a. It's interesting. If you offer faction-specific world-first bosses, is that going to push faction balance back the other way? And I'm not sure that's going to work, but it's interesting if it's part of a solution to balance faction levels. Like that could be a part of balancing.
Yeah. But yeah, everything is... I don't know how they're going to do it. I know, like, right now they have their own leaderboard, which is Horde World First and Alliance World First, which is empty, by the way. So, yeah, I don't know.
Because we haven't gotten there yet, Draven.
Well, yeah, we're not going to be World First on Alliance. I know there's Alliance teams that are 6 or 7 Mythic already, and we're 1 in Heroic. But yeah, what I was saying with Ashara, though, it doesn't sound like she's even going to be a raid boss this expansion, which kind of makes sense with what they did with Gul'dan. Blizzard mentioned that she was going to be the Gul'dan, and everyone took that as, okay, she's going to be an early raid boss or a mid raid boss. And it looks like it's going to be more of a, she's just going to lead in the next expansion, which is either going to be Naga or more likely Old God.
I think she's a setup character. I think you're partially right on that. She may not be the raid boss heavy here, but she could be continuously, part of that coming up. Like she might be next expansion's heavy.
Yeah, I don't know if she'll be the last boss of the expansion. I wouldn't be upset if that was the case, but I wouldn't mind one boss after her, an Old God. But
Oh, by the way, posted by Blizzard, I wanted to confirm that you would not get the Dreadwake mount if you convert your WoW tokens into game time directly. In this case, you would need to claim the tokens for balance first and then buy the correct bundle from the shop, in case you're interested, Draven.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before, but, unless I get sponsored a bunch of gold, I don't have it right at the moment. So I'll end up just buy them out with gold later on. It's not a problem. I spent too much on tokens and turned them in already. That's all. It's fine. Let's see. Other than that, what do we got here? We got some system updates. Wharf runs, heritage armors, more islands. There's the raid. Map and reputation improvements. Well, we talked about that a bit. Azurite traits, a lot of people are like, these are so boring. And I'm like, it's the first tier. This happens every expansion. So, unless you have anything else, I think we've covered. Oh, that reminds Gal, it wasn't open yet. What have you thought about the Warfront? What is your opinion on it?
That's a good point, and I meant to talk to you about that before we finished up today. Is I like the Warfront. I know you and I have had this conversation on this show before. Is one fighting mode that I've always been interested in is a Warcraft 3 simulation. Where you are the people in the Warcraft 3 like kind of MOBA part. And this is about as close as it's ever gotten. Alterac Valley was the last time it felt like this, and I think there's still some tweaking to do, but it's a fun mode. The rewards, at least the 370 made it worthwhile. The 340s with Warforged, Titanforged possibilities make it interesting. It's easy enough that you can, even as a healer, I was able to go off and do mining for ore or kill things or search the map or go for wood or steal. The other thing I did is I ran my shaman down into the horde mine, stole a bunch of ore, walked it back up to the elemental ring, and bought. I kept buying the 100 ore elemental lords with it and running them into town, where they just smoked the NPCs, which was hilarious. So anyway, long story short is it was fun. I don't know what the replay value is going to be on this map, but it's been a refreshing experience. I think it still needs some tweaking, though. What about you?
Yeah, I had fun in it. It's slow compared to the rest of the game, but it's designed that way. Getting the 370, especially since it was a weapon on my paladin, was great.
You got freaking lucky. That was an amazing drop. On top of that, it's perfectly itemized for you and looks fantastic.
Yeah, not arguing. The replay value is more for alts that are semi-geared already. If you're looking at rewards, because you're guaranteed 340 every time you get through it. If you have the weekly or the quest for the first time, you get a 370. Maybe it'll be worthless. Maybe it'll be worthless. Who knows? Once you're above a certain item level, there's really no point to do it outside that first time, which is, I'm fine with that. I would like to see different difficulties, which has been brought up in chat, because it is very hard to lose. It is next to impossible if you have more than half your group doing anything that you could actually lose. So as long as people aren't AFKing, it might take a while, but probably going to win and get the reward.
I think the threshold is 5 active players are required to win the event.
Yeah, something like 5, 7, somewhere around there. But another thing chat brought up is it didn't feel important to gather resources. Well, yes and no. It depends on how quickly you went through it, because you have to get the siege engines or the catapults or whatever, depending on what faction you're on, in order to bust the enemy gate down to get into the last boss to end it. So you do need to get the resources. The faster you get them, the faster you get to the end, the faster you get out, and whether you do it again or not, it's up to you. This, to me, feels like it is the very definition, same with island expeditions, and technically even World Quest at this point, where they don't care, as long as you're in-game doing something, they don't care what it is. Like, this seems like it's just do it a couple times, have fun while you're there. You won't probably ever have to do it again, at least for a while. And then if you feel like it, you can do it again, and maybe you'll get lucky and get a Warforge. Same with island expeditions.
Right.
Once you fill that bar, you have no reason to go back. There is zero reward to do it, unless you feel like doing it. And then you might possibly get like a quest item, which they up the thing. I actually just got 3 quest items off of 1 island expedition earlier today. So I got to travel the world, including going back to Legion content, to turn these in. It was more Azerite, and that was it. So you're not missing anything if you haven't got those particular ones. But it definitely seems like they're adding in content into the game that doesn't feel like you have to continuously do it all the time. This is a once-in-a-while thing. Like with the island expeditions, fill your bar up once a week, then you're done with them. With the Warfronts, I think this is why they're timed out the way they are. So you only have access to this for a week. It's not because they don't want you to do it. It's because they know that anything longer than that, and you'll be like, I'm not doing it anyway.
Yep.
So, yeah, we got some new ones coming out. I would like them to have different difficulties. Like this feels like normal version or LFR version than what we got now. Maybe add a harder difficulty, up the reward a couple item levels. Like, let's say this is normal. We're gonna put you in heroic. Minimum thing you're gonna get to 350 though, but it's gonna be a lot harder. Like you need everyone participating. You can't have more than one AFKer, and even then that'll make it, that makes it hard. And then maybe you can put a mythic one up where you don't get an AFKer and everyone has to not suck. And you probably would have to go in as a raid team at that point. But
So I agree in general. I think that for now it's good. I'm wondering if they're going to be releasing these other war fronts in timing with other raid tiers, so that things, the rewards are scaling up with the upcoming war fronts. I can't imagine they're all going to be 340s.
yeah, that would be kind of silly. I would imagine, much like heroic dungeons and stuff like that at the end of expansions, where everything's like, yeah, remember when you used to, like, I'm just going to make up numbers. I know Wrath had item level 200 gear, so I'm going to use that. Remember when you got to item 200 gear, and then by the end of the expansion it was like 264? Yeah, we're just going to up it for current content every single round. Maybe keep a couple of them. Like if Arathi is only this level of difficulty, it'll be say the next set of gear is 390 to 410. I don't know what it's going to be, but let's say that's where the gear is at. Maybe make Arathi 380 once this other raid's out and people have time to get into it. I'd be okay with that. Give it like almost LFR quality gear, but make it so that farming it isn't worth it. Like you might get this piece of gear and it might be great, but you might get it 13 times in a row. So instead of getting other duplicate pieces, non-duplicate pieces, you're just getting this one thing over and over.
I'm thinking about the same thing on that one.
And, I mean, as long as there's a reason to do the other content for gear and other rewards, I'm fine with it. But if it becomes I'm gonna get gear on my alt, at that point, if it's like the main way to gear your main, you might want to lower the rewards a bit. Okay, Titan Forge can happen. Make a one-time quest where you can get a really nice piece.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. I've been thinking it over as you're going through it, and it's like it feels like it should be a milestone thing where, for example, you get something that, like similar to what you're saying is each character you would want to run through this at least like 1 to 2, 3, 4 times, and it's not just an alt grinding load up.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as there's a reason to go, but it's not the best way to get your character heroically geared for the next raid. No. If you want to run it 15 times and hope you get a Titan Forge for that one slot, sure, fine, go for it. But if it's giving you heroic level gear of whatever the current raid tier is every time, then I'd be like, you need to lower this down a bit. It's just too much. You're literally cutting out 3/4 of your game. You got rid of heroic dungeons, you got rid of mythic dungeons, at least without keys. That kind and current LFR. Make it about LFR level of whatever that tier is, and I think it'd be okay.
With the possibility of Warforged and Titan Forge still?
I'd make it possible, but I would lower the chance. And this is coming from someone who I have literally farmed these things many times for a Warforged or Titan Forge for 2 specific pieces that took me like 15 times to get.
So I'm thinking about that, and we come up with these great ideas, but it's always difficult to get a specific balance there between the thing that Warforged and Titan Forge does is it brings back players to the same content for the chance of getting that one item, but it also keeps pools of players who are doing that content higher than they otherwise would be. So you got, it's going to be six of one way and half dozen of the other. If you make it too repeatable, like you're saying, then people are just going to be going Warforged to Titan Forge all the time, dilutes the value of going through. If you make it the other way, where it's the content is LFR style, there's a huge population of people that are just going to be one and done with it.
Yeah, I'm sure Blizzard has better numbers in terms of where the Warforge and or Titan Forge should be, but I'm like, just spitballing numbers. I'm thinking like 2%
Right.
chance to Warforge, and then a 2% of that 2% to Titan Forge.
Right.
So, and when I say Warforge, I'm talking just like 5 item levels, and or a socket, and or leech as an example. Like it could 5% or the 2% would cover all of it, and you might just get all of them and get lucky, or you might just get the socket or the leech or the 5 item levels.
Right.
Whereas the Titan Forge would be like, here's 15 extra item levels. Make that possible. Make it rare. So that if someone wants to grind it for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and make themselves sick, because if they're botting, then
Titan
they need
Forge,
to
the Love Rocket.
No, don't get me started. And on that note, I don't know if I can top that. So, unless you have anything else you want to talk about, I say we go ahead and get on out of here.
No, I can cover anything remaining in shout-outs and whatnot.
Yeah. Alrighty, well then, in that case, it is time for the shout-outs and contact stuff. So, Galv, what do you got?
Well, people can normally get a hold of me on twitch.tv/Galvanid. I'll have to fix my camera, apparently. But I'll still try to get Monday through Thursday streaming. And please visit on Monday night, because Fire Department is going to be absolutely rolling in Heroic. And I don't know how far we're going to get, but considering that we took 2.5 hours to knock out 8 normal and 1 heroic boss on Wednesday, we're on a hot streak, and it's a really good, fun group of people. So it's a bit of everything. So that should be fun. Check it out if you can. And with Vex, they're up to 3 out of 8 heroic. I think they're kind of stuck on either Vectis or Zekvaz, and they're going to go back and take another crack at it next week. But Twitter is Galvanid Online. I have been posting some updates there as well, and you can catch me on Discord, whether it be, you can find me in the Epic Fail Discord, the CTR Discord, the Fire Department Discord, lots of Discords. So yeah, how about you, Draven?
Let me unmute myself.
When you're not muted, how do people get a hold of you?
Painfully, because I will fight back. But if you're talking to, converse with me online, that's another story. At Draven Dresden over on Twitter is the easiest way, as long as you're polite or civil. You can also contact the show at Podcast Epic Fail. Honestly, contacting me directly is going to be the easier way, because I can actually check that more often and easier. But as long as you're polite and civil, we can have a conversation. It's fine. Let's see. What else we got? I should probably do a shout out.
Yeah, you should.
I'm going to give a... See, I want to give the shout out to Blizzard for that mount deal. And especially for trolling people for making it so slow in water. Because I love that.
It doesn't float. It goes, so it goes slowly in water. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that they did that. But I'm going to give my shout out to Method, because world first, and that was great that they live streamed it. I loved it. Didn't watch all of it, but when I did see, my only request to them, if they do it again, better casters.
Yep.
They did an okay job a lot of the time, some of the time, but there were times where I was like, I want to continue watching you guys. I can't take these guys, and I don't want to mute. So I went and did something else instead.
Did you notice that they switched to essentially a musical soundtrack at one point and didn't even have casters talking?
For a little bit, yeah. I mean, a lot of the streamers were streaming also, and they had the music from 2004 techno stuff or whatever they've been using since then. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought the Red Bull thing was going to provide, some central commentators in the multi-stream. It never quite got that
Yeah.
sophisticated, but
Well,
yeah, I think that experience would be enhanced, and they'd get even more positive response.
Yeah.
Than they already did, which was impressive.
Yeah. There were times where it was cringeworthy at best. There were times where it wasn't terrible. But there it is. Method, you still get my shout out because you still got world first, and good job. So that being said, stuff I got to mention at the end of every show. One, we have a Patreon. Patreon.com/podcastepicfail. Basically, if you want to throw money at the show, thank you. I will not understand your decision. I will look at you like you're crazy, but I will be appreciative anyway and say thank you. $1, $2, $5. I have no idea if there actually is $100. I seriously doubt I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to put it out there even for the lols. But, if it's there if you want it, and I will look at you like you're crazy and say thank you. We have a Discord. Galv mentioned it earlier, bit.ly/epicfail Discord. Come say hi. It'll be fun. The opening theme song, minus the little heartbeat at the beginning, which I borrowed from somewhere else that I'm not going to mention. It's a heartbeat, so it's fine. bensound.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0, aka give them credit, and you can use it for free. Lots of cool stuff over there. I think before I picked the one I picked, there was 12 of them that I had to choose from. That I was like, ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, I like this. And finally, I settled on the one I got because I was like, it starts with "Shut Up, Sit Down." How can I not pick that? So with that, Gal, do you have any last words for the show?
Another epic fail made it to the internet. All right. How's my sound? Was there a lot of background noise tonight? Gotcha. Yeah, I tried to mute in between.